The guy that he killed, the victim, he suffered for whatever it is. He's done. He's got. They put him in. It's Kaddish. It's finished. I mean, this guy is going to be now sitting behind bars for the rest of his life. So, like, why did you do that? Did you think that over? That it's not kedai for you to do that? It's not kedai. Why did you do that? So the teretz is he couldn't control himself. So he was mugbal. He was held within the prison before they put him behind bars. He was in a prison of his anger. Okay, that's a very extreme example. That happens to all of us. And then we spend the rest of the day saying, well, I'm sorry, it wasn't me, I didn't mean to, I don't know what happened, and so on. But that we through our own impulses, are in jails that we built and cells that we locked. Not chas v'sholom rishoyim. A rosh is mamish, a person who's the most mugbal. Who's the most mugbal? Rosh meshubed l'koiches afeilim. The Rosh is meshubed, he's enslaved to these darker impulses, these darker koiches. Shemiraksim oisa ba'atzma. These darker forces within the Rosh cause him to be completely focused on himself. Okay, thanks. To be completely lost in himself. Akadekach, that if you didn't give me what I wanted, or if you got me angry, then he can't control himself. Because everything is focused. Harashim Meshubah, he's Meshubah to these koiches afem, these dark koiches that cause him to be completely focused on himself. To the point that it's possible to hurt other people, even to kill other people, but to hurt other people, only that it should satisfy him. There's no person who is as pathetically imprisoned as a Rosh. I mean, it's a very extreme example, but on different levels. Obviously, in the situation where this is a Jew, these koiches, these dark koiches, are choking the neshama, are suffocating the neshama. Chonkim es ha-neshama shebekirba. Harishus hi ha-egoism bizgalmusa. Rishus is the embodiment of egoism. Kevin shehi mashkia es ha-adam b'sar gvulas atzma. Because the person is constrained by his rishus, by that darker side of himself. He's held back into certain borders, in certain gvulas. He can't go beyond he does not know how to move beyond those borders. He does not know how to get out of that obsession with himself and satisfying his needs. He's stuck. He can't get out of it. So you have a person that's every addiction, for whatever reason, the person fell into that addiction. It happened to him that he's an addict. But the smoking is killing him, the drinking is killing him, is destroying his family, the gambling is destroying his family, the pornography is destroying the family, is destroying him. And you just tell him to stop doing that. And as a result of this addiction that he has to gambling, he's not able to pay he wants his kid to be in yeshiva. He wants his kid to grow up not like him. He wants the kid to be an Elech Yid, not to be a gambler, but to be a Talmud Chacham. He wants the best for his son. Or for his daughter to be a fine Jewish girl. That's what he wants. But he can't pay tuition. He could afford tuition. The guy's making enough money to pay for the kids' tuition. So how come he's not paying the yeshiva? And how come they're telling the kids they have to go? He can't pay the tuition. The Teretz is he goes to Atlantic City. Not for the swimming, whatever they do. He goes to gamble. So he can't. So he's addicted to gambling, and that gambling has taken away from him what he wants to do. He wants his kids to be in yeshiva. He wants his marriage. He loves his wife. His wife says, "You do this again. I find the credit's used up, or you whatever these gamblers do. You spent the money again on gambling. I'm leaving you. The marriage is done." He doesn't want to lose his wife. They're high school sweethearts. He loves her. He's been married to her for 40 years. He can't live without her. And there he is again by the casino. He can't hold himself. So is there any person who's more mugbal, who's more meshubit, who's less free? Again, it's an extreme example. You look at this farm, and you have a tremendous longing to be able to learn some of them, and to be able to actually finish some of them, and to be a person but then the bed is calling to you to go schluffen, to go to sleep. It's going to happen tonight. It's in a few hours from now. The Friday nights are still winter. The clock didn't change yet. You can learn for a few hours tonight, and you want to learn. And you're excited. Parshas Yisro. Once a year, Parshas Yisro, Kabbalah Satorah, all those Rambans, all the Rashis and Rambans and the Medrash and all the Sfarim HaKadoshim, and they're sitting there on your shelf, and you're looking at them. They're schlufen. Is there a bigger prisoner? Eventually, a person goes to sleep, but you don't have to go to sleep at 9 o'clock or something. That's late. And you say, but I want to be able to. I wanted so much to be married with the parasha. I wanted to look at the parasha. I was waiting the whole week for Friday night to be able to have some time to be married Sedra and to enjoy this, my favorite sefer. And it's on the table. You have your favorite sefer, and you're so excited. So first you try to look at the sefer. And your wife is so sweet. She says to you, "Honey, I think maybe you should just go to this." No. And then she taps you like a half hour later. What are you married in Amoritz? What do you think I am? He's all insulted. You want to do that. And if someone else, you said that your whole week you're waiting for that sefer. You're looking forward to it. You wanted to do that. And yeah, it's not a vicious, it's a totally innocent thing. Not anything bad. But a time for sleep. Time for sleep. I'm not saying, again, a person has to have a certain amount of every. But a time for sleep. And this is the most innocent failure to live up to what you wanted to. I'm not talking something bad. But the next morning, a person is 30 years old, 35 years old. He wants to be in shul on time. He was thinking of Shem Kippur. It's terrible. Why do I always come to shul 15 minutes late? Why do I have to come to shul 20 minutes late? What's the matter with me? It's so silly. My kid's already a little bit older. He sees his father doesn't go to shul on time, and how could I tell my kid to go to shul on time if I don't go on time? So but it's Shabbos morning, and it's 8:20, and he's still lying there. I'm not talking about davening is at 9. Davening is 8:30, and he's still lying there at 8:20. He's having a coffee in the kitchen at 8:30. I never understand this. He's sitting. The davening is starting in 5 minutes, and he's sitting with a coffee someplace. You ask him, don't you want to daven? He says, I do want to daven. So what is it? I have this. I like my coffee. You like your coffee at 8:25? You can't have your coffee at 8 o'clock. It's a prison. It's a crazy prison. I'm not talking here about drugs or smoking. All these habits and all these things that imprison us. And then there are worse habits than a cup of coffee. Coffee is pretty bad. I mean, if you drink too much of it. But there are worse habits. There are worse habits than that. I've seen people with coffee that they're crazy with coffee. You see there are people that they bring coffee into davening. Person takes a coffee into shul. I've even seen people drink coffee during davening. He's not meshubed. He's not a slave to something. If you'd ask him, do you think this is what God wants of you? You should be sitting there with your talis and tefillin, sipping on some Starbucks or something. Are you out of your mind? maybe you have some silly guy that would say, what's wrong? Well, most people, even if they say that they can start getting not so partial. Maybe even look a little bit into this farm to see in the Shulchan Aruch, the Mishabur. But what are you doing sitting there with a coffee in the middle of davening? You can't. It's such a shibud. Paro standing over him, telling him drink. In the middle of davening to drink. Paro. So it's not a shibud. Because he likes that. He likes that. And then he's upset about his kid because his kid likes to be on the phone. It's supposed to matter you can't control yourself. I told you 15 minutes a day. And the kid says, I told you 1 coffee a week. If the kids could talk, wow. The parents would get it. Mamish would get it. You can't control yourself. You see your kid went on the side. It wasn't the time that was mutter, and he went on the side with the phone, and you see him texting to one of his friends or looking at something playing on the phone, and you can't believe it. I told you we had an agreement. And you don't hear the Baruch Shalom telling you when you come to shul 15 minutes later, he's telling you, we had an agreement, I told you. But for your kid, you say, we had an agreement, I told you. The agreement we made with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, that Mush B'Vayim Mahar Sinai, something else. We made an agreement by Parshas Yisro. We made an agreement. We Mekabel the Torah. The Kadosh Baruch Hu says, we made an agreement. We made an agreement that you wouldn't look at these things on the computer. We made an agreement at Har Sinai. You wouldn't look at this picture. We made an agreement. He's Meshubit. He's Meshubit to the picture. It's not the saddest thing in the world. It's much sadder than with the children. The children are young. They didn't develop yet their koiches to be in control. The parents have such tightness with the children. They don't understand. I found out this I had from a parent the other day. She went crazy, this mother, because she found out that her 9th grader is texting with a boy. She went crazy. I said, what are you so surprised? What do you think? What do you mean we put her in this school? That's, girls like boys, boys like girls. It's been going on for a long time. Parachute. We try our best. Like, what were you doing? What were you thinking about when you were 15? So I'm not saying you can't try to do something about it, but you're so shocked. It's like I mentioned, there was an Alti that was niftus. I mentioned that the grandson was very sad about it. Right, the grandfather was over 100. So I mentioned that when Rav Elyashiv was niftus, I think it was 104. Rav Elyashiv, and I remember the Jewish newspaper said, "The Torah world is shocked by the sudden patira of Rav Elyashiv." So I remember thinking, I mean, we're all brokenhearted, but sudden patira? I mean, 104, sudden patira, I don't know, that's like not a sudden patira, that's pretty good. 104. We're sad. We're heartbroken over the patira of the Gadol Hadar. Yeah, heartbroken, but I would say it's a shocking and sudden patira. But we're so messed up. Because we're meshubit to our taivas, to our desires. That's it. So the Rishonim walk around feeling like they're the freest people in the world. But really, they're the most chained and imprisoned. He can't get out of his own gvulas. The coffee, the sleep, this, the that. He can't get out of those gvulas. But tov is the opposite of that. The person who is good, the opposite of the Rasha, the tzaddik. The whole thing of the tzaddik is Yitzia migvul atzmo. Remember that. Next time me and you were in one of these funny situations where we got to make that choice, the tzaddik's trademark is that he travels freely. Yitzia migvul atzmo. He leaves his borders in a split second. In a split second, he'll drop himself to do for somebody else, including HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to do for Hashem. Because Hashem said, go to shul on time. Yitzia migvul atzma. He's not held prisoner by his self-interests. He's not held prisoner. He has a visa, a passport, a gate. He goes. He moves. Ki inyono yitzia migvul atzma. The definition of tov, hatov, the meaning of tov is yitzia migvul atzma. Getting out of that gvul, that boundary, that border, not in the right place. On page Kuf Yud Zayin, second paragraph. Yitzia migvul atzma. He's able to get out of that gvul, Like I know, I have with time, I have a craziness with time. I don't know if any of you ever noticed that about me. I have a craziness with time. I actually, that's from my parents. And with time, on time, I did time. And my wife, she should be well as time is not she's not so nispal from time. So this is already Baruch Hashem. I'm married many years, and there's a chasna, and the chasna is called for a certain time, and I'm standing there in my coat for half hour in the hallway, like pacing in the hallway. And my wife, something with the shaitel, with the makeup. I don't know what's going on up there in the laboratory. Something's going on, and I said something like, because I always say estimated departure time. I say, what's the estimate? Earlier in the day, I'll say, what's the EDT? And she'll say, so let's say the estimate that so I'm saying it's we need to leave by 6:30. She'll say 6:30-ish. And I always say ish. 6:30. So no, 6:30-ish. And then now it's like 6:45, and I'm pacing like up and down the hallway. And I hear my wife saying, I don't have my glasses. Where's my glasses? Like, it's my glasses. And this played 1,000,000 times. And she'll always come down like happy and, and she'll see me there. And I'll say, we're going to miss the chuppah. And they told me I have to be by the chuppah. We're going to miss the chuppah. So my wife says, we've been to like 10,000 chasnas. Did you ever miss the chuppah? Even once. So now I always will answer, yes. Once in Great Neck in 1984. This conversation. In other words, we were late in 1984 for that chasna. I don't remember whose chasna it was. I remember it was in Great Neck, and we were late. It might not even been her fault. I don't know what it was, but I still use that. Because she says, we were ever late for the chuppah? So, it's crazy. I know that, right? That I have a shibud to time, which in many ways it's good, it's helpful, because I'm not late but it gets me nervous. You know what I mean? It makes me nervous. It takes away so much of my simchas achayim. That thing that I have with the pinklichkeit, it takes away a certain simchas achayim that I see the people that don't have it. There's another extreme, of course, and that's something else. But I see that and in so many ways that Indian of I have this and this has to be at a certain time, and I have to be and it's that and the exact time. If it's not that time, then there's something wrong. If it's not that time, and who made this prison? Who made this? Who made these jail, this cell? Who made these bars and this lock? And me. Okay, so my parents, they like that too. With time, very very much. Which my father was in shul 20 minutes before davening. That's how he was. And I remember that he'd be walking around waiting for me to come with him to shul. That was the generation. So my father's already 20 minutes. I only wanted to be 10 minutes before shul. It went down a little bit. My father's 20 minutes before davening to be in shul. It takes away the whole simchas achayim. So then the Torah says, stop doing that. What's the matter with you? Are you crazy? You're ready. You're not 20 years old. You're take it easy. What's the matter with you? I'll see on the phone, all those green things to answer with, and my wife will say, you don't have to answer tomorrow. That's how she does. So what is it? Says, I have this in you, I don't know, they're waiting and I have to answer. And I said, there's shibudim. It's embarrassing for me to share this with you, but I'm telling you, I don't know if any of you have these kind of mishagas, but this is some mishagas that I have with like certain inyanim that mishabed me, and these are not evil things. These are established, but they're shibudim, and each person has his or her own different shibudim. But there's something that you need, that you want. There's something that has to be your way, and if it's not your way, you get crazy. You get anxious. If it's not your way, you get anxious. It has to be this way. Tov is the opposite. Inyan yitzia migvul atzma. Yitzia migvul atzma. I'm able to get out of that gvul. I'm free. I'm free. That doesn't mean it's good to be on time, but sometimes you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be that way. Like I told you a few months ago that the Heilige Zid Shabbos was he was a tzaddik, a kaddish, and he went to show the chayzer from Lublin. His Rebbe, the Zid Shabbos, went to show the chayzer the schedule that he made for himself of the day. So he had exactly whatever it was, like 5:23 mikveh. 5:33 Mishnah. He had the whole day. He had like that till the night, and he wanted to show the chayzer and to ask the chayzer if he agreed with the schedule. So the chayzer in Blin looks at the thing. And he says he goes to the first one. Says 5:20. I'm just making up 5:23 mikveh. So the chayzer says, "Good, very good." I'm on this, does I? Very good, but sometimes not like that. Then he went to the next thing, like Mishnah is 5:33. Zayikid, Mishnah is sometimes not like that. So he said. And the Chayz was saying to him, take it easy, buddy. What does I? You're making yourself into a slave. You're sick now with every. You're making yourself into a slave. These are all holy things. Mikveh, Mishnah is good stuff. The Chayz was saying, even it doesn't dafka come out, because you know what? Because at 5:23 on some morning 3 years from now, it might be that your baby is crying and your wife doesn't feel good, right? And you're going to get crazy because it's showing 5:23 and I'm in the house. I'm not in the mikveh, but your wife needs you. Then it's not time to go to the mikveh. You go to the mikveh an hour from now. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? No. So that's the Chayzer said, Lav davke. Lav davke. Because in that world of the Chayzer from Lublin, it's what's right and what's good, not me, what I need. So if that morning it's right and it's good to help your wife out, then you need the mikveh? Well, go out of your need. It's a holy thing, the mikveh. Go out of that. Go out of that. That's something to remember. Am I able to get out of this gvul? Who made this gvul? Am I able to get out of this gvul? If you are able to get out of the gvul, you're a free person. If you're not, you're sure, but it could be something which is holy, it could be something which looks very good, and you could explain why you had to be davka the way you wanted it. Sofka Sov is the way you wanted it. Even if it's in Ruchnius, it's the way you wanted it. So your wanting is better, So you don't want the coffee, right? You want the mikveh right now. But so your wife is the one that's suffering from your wanting something holy. So then, what did you do? So what did you do? The whole argument I had this past year, the past Yontif time, there was a certain wife that her father had just passed away, and she had gone through a terrible sickness, and the husband was making her crazy that he has to go to Uman, and he spoke to some mashpia that told him about the manias, and you have to go to Uman, I said, are you out of your mind? Do you think that Rabbi Nachman would have told you to leave a sick wife who just got up from Shiva? Are you out of your mind? This is the argument I'm having. Because he wants to go to Uman. That's the Maisa. You want to go to Uman. But then he throws in, I'm going to daven for my wife. Oh. Exactly. I'm all in favor of the trips to Uman. I wish I could go myself, Rosh Hashanah. It's great, and I encourage people to go to Uman. This guy has to stay home. But he's Meshubah to Uman. Why? He's telling me I didn't miss 1 year. 13 years I didn't miss. That's what he told me. 13 years I went to Uman. I have here we are again, Lou Gehrig. I have my streak. I have my unbroken streak of Uman. I got 13 straight years of Uman, and you tell me I should break my streak for who? For my wife? Just because she's at Shiva? Just because she's sick? I have a 13-year streak. You don't know, you asked me to break my streak. And you know what Rabbi Nachman said about coming to his grave in Rosh Hashanah? Then they said the drushes. Yeah, I know what Rabbi Nachman said about going. But Rabbi Nachman would tell you to stay home. But this is even in Ruchnius. You can't get out of that gvul. Gvul atzmai. But there are always ways to explain it. I didn't make this gvul. Rabbi Nachman, he's going to blame the tzaddik. Rabbi Nachman made a gvul that everybody has to go to him. You can't get out of that gvul. It's his own gvul. Ki inyani yitzim gvul atzma machshava al acherim. The inyan of tov is machshava al acherim. Thinking outside of yourself. Going outside of yourself. That's tov. Ze inyan shel tzaddik. That's the inyan of the tzaddik. Yitzia migvul atzma. Bitui boiled the midos shel tzaddik who had tzedakah. And that's the connection between the word tzaddik and the word tzedakah. You don't feel like giving that. You don't feel like writing that check. You don't feel like giving that to the other person. That the tzaddik and tzedakah is the same word. Tzaddik v'tzedakah u'ufyanim means characterized. The tzaddik and tzedakah are characterized by bipniya klapei chutz, by being able to turn to the other. Tzedakah means I hear what the other needs. That's tzedakah. And that's the tzaddik. Lo klapei ha'adam atzma. Not klapei the person himself. He's able to turn the other direction from himself. When a person gives to another person, whether it's money or advice or help, whatever it is, doesn't have to be money. But you give to another person, that means that you're getting out of your gvulas hamitzum. You're opening up your own prison. You're opening the door, and you're leaving that jail. You're out. You're free. You would rather sleep. Your friend needs you. You would rather spend your time doing something else. This person needs a Torah from you. Whatever it is. That's what the tzaddik is able to open the door. He's free. The person who's tov can open his door anytime he wants. He opens the door. The Russia can't do that. That's not, again, Russian is very extreme. Russian can't open that door when he wants to. Even if he wants to. Even if he wants to. Like this, the joke, I don't remember the whole nusach, but there was a joke, I remember from many years ago, about these three guys on that work on top of a building somewhere in a construction on a skyscraper, and this one says, every single day I have my wife. I have a salami sandwich every day for the last 30 years. If it's going to be salami again, I'm jumping. He opens up his, the joke, right? He opens up the thing, salami. He goes to the thing, he jumps off. The next guy says, every single day for 30 years, my wife is making me a tuna fish sandwich. If she gave me tuna fish again, I'm gonna jump off the building. He opens up the thing, there's tuna fish, he jumps. The third guy just starts to head to jump off the building. So there's another guy watching. He says, oh, what is it? He said, I make my own sandwiches. I'm not married. So if I do this again, I'm going to jump off the roof. I make my own sandwich. This is your own jail. You're going to jump off the roof because you're not happy with this. You don't want to be this way. You don't want this sandwich. So why are you making it again? The teretz is avodim alina power mitzvah. Power told me to. You can't stop. You don't like this. You don't want this. So why are you doing it? The person that's eating and eating can't stand the way she looks or the way he looks. I can't fit into this. I can't fit into that. I'm disgusted with myself. I'm not going to any simcha because somebody might see how much weight I gained and all these things. So stop eating so much. You're not happy. You don't want to look that way. So then why are you eating so much? That's complicated. The shibud, and then you sit down to the food and go like, who was mashabed you? You want to be able to fit into that dress? So don't eat that thing. Don't eat the piece of cake. I told you this before. That was my father's diet. Because my sister was with the weight, and my father said, stop eating so much. That was it. You don't have to buy any books. You don't have to spend $250 for some lady in Weight Watchers to weigh you. People do that, you know. They spend money every week to go $60. You could buy a scale and weigh yourself. So you ask the person out, why are you paying every single week? I don't know, $60, whatever, $80. Why are you paying every single week? You go to somebody, Gladys, who has a scale somewhere, and she weighs you and says, "So proud of you. Why can't you do that yourself?" So the person will say, "No, you don't understand because I have to face Gladys every week." Who's Gladys to you? She's, what are you afraid of Gladys? If you just if you want to feel better and you want to be slimmer and you want to get into that dress for the chasana, forget about Gladys. Just stop eating so much. No, you have to go to some place, somewhere in Rockville Center. I don't know where. So the Gladys will say, "I'm so proud of you," and that way you're not going to have an extra piece of mezainis this Friday night. Yes. I'm not making these stories. These are things that go on all the time. What's the matter with you? What?
It works.
But these are patentum that work, but it's pathetic that we have to. I understand the same way that when it comes to you have to stop smoking, so you have to get some kind of a mahalach. I understand. And we do these things. But the emes, that's what I'm saying, that tzaddik doesn't have to do this. The Baba of Rabbi Susi Aleinu, like many Jews from that time, he was smoking all the time. And I read in the Sefer, he was smoking. Many that they smoked. And when the study came out, I don't know when the first studies came out, late 50s, early 60s, when the studies came out, and somebody came and told the Baba Rebbe that they found that that smoking is very unhealthy, the Baba Rebbe said, that was the end. And that was the end, yeah. And that was the end of smoking. Oh, it's not healthy? That was the end. Not to go to 12 steps, not what am I going to do? And not to, they used to put things on their fingers that should taste bad, the cigarettes, all different things. Nothing. Just, it's not good for you. In the Shmatim or the Nafshe Seichem, the tzaddik is yotzei migvulos atzma. I mean, he did enjoy the cigarette, otherwise he wouldn't have been smoking. So there was something that the cigarette did for the tzaddik, whatever it was. But then when it was against what Akash Baruch Hu said at Har Sinai, because Hashem Zok said at Har Sinai, if it's not healthy, don't do it. So Hashem Zok said that. So Nishmatim L'Nasheh Seichem. So then the tzaddik said, I'm done. Finished.
They haven't said that about coffee yet.
What?
They haven't said that about
Coffee has not been determined to be unhealthy?
Nope, just the opposite.
I'm sure that there's only, it means a certain amount. It can't be unlimited, coffee unlimited, right? Unless you saw that on a commercial or something. It can't be. It can't be. That was also my father's one. His motto was everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Somebody just told me this morning after that, I was telling to my grandson, and an old friend of mine was there. So he told me that his grandfather was a survivor, an old Hungarian Jew, and His grandfather sat him down before the chasna to give him like a schmooze, chasna schmooze. The grandfather's English wasn't so great. So he said, my grandfather told me, he wanted to say to me, about, you're getting married, you should know that everybody has hang-ups, right? So my grandfather said to me, he says, listen, I want to tell you, Yankee, everybody has hangovers. It's like, it's a good word, no? Everybody has hangovers. Now, maybe by the Irish you could say such a thing. But by Jews, they say everybody has hangovers. So that was the advice my father gave me. You're getting married, you should know everybody has hangovers. Don't get nervous, don't get angry at her. Everybody has hangovers. Yeah, we all do. But the emes is that if we be mechazik ourselves, we'd be able to go out from those gulim. That doesn't have to be that way. Like the Chayzer said, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe today. Maybe you don't have to have that other coffee today. I'm using coffee as an example. I don't mean this to make anybody feel uncomfortable because I happen not like I never drank coffee, so I don't know what it's like. I see it's a huge type. But okay, so it was soda. My thing was caffeine, the soda. And then they told me it wasn't good for me, so I stopped drinking caffeine. But then I went back to it at some point. Baruch Hashem. But it's every one of us has these inyanim. To be able to go out from that gvul. That gvul. How many times you have that? That the wife will say, "This is unhealthy. What you're doing. I want you to be with us for many, many years," and he's smoking or something. These conversations, or the other way that the wife or something has some kind of an unhealthy thing, and the husband, and you're doing this to yourself. You're doing this to yourself. And what about the children? What about me? What about the kids? You're doing this, and we want you to live for many long years to be with us. And you ask him, don't you love your wife and children? I do love my wife more than anything in the world. No, it's not true. You're a liar. You love yourself more. That's why you're smoking. Your wife has begged you to stop smoking. Your kids are crying, stop smoking. Why are you smoking? So don't tell me you love your wife and kids more than anything in the world. You love yourself more than anything in the world. Otherwise you would stop smoking. You can't get out of that gvul. And when they hear you say that in such a way, they get very upset. Because you're making them look like they're selfish. They don't like that. You tell me I love myself more than I love my wife and kids. There's nobody I love more than my. So then they'll come to something like this. I know in my shul there's a guy, he's 98 years old, he's smoking 3 packs a day. Yeah, these kind of things. There's some kind of an einfall, we call it in Yiddish. He came up with an iluyish svara, a Rogatchover bomb that came to say, I know a guy, he's 98, he smokes 3 packs of cigarettes a day, so don't tell me I'm selfish. And not only that, my father lived to be 90 years old. He didn't smoke. That's not that he lived to be 90 years old. But you say, but statistics show that. No, you know the guy in shul? He's 98. He's got smoke coming out of his ears. We do these things just because you can't get out, even though you know that that's a ridiculous thing to say. If your kid would tell you such a svar about one of his habits, he would say, "Are you out of your mind? That's ridiculous. It's not a svar." But you can't get out of that. Geshe Adam, he says, Geshe Adam noisen la'acherim, whom l'maisa yoytzim mitoch ha'gvulus ha'mitzum sam mishlo mis'achid imazulas. When you do for somebody else, even though you don't feel like it, you're getting out of that gvul, out of that jail, of your own jail, mis'achid imazulas, and you have a yichud with a friend, with a husband, with a wife, with a kid, with a father, with a mother. You have a yichud. You mis'achid with somebody else, with a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem's Baruch said, get up and go to shul. You mis'achid with a Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's a yichud. You don't feel like it, you go. You don't feel like it, you get out of that gvul, you get up and you go to shul, you mis'achid with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a yichud with Hashem. It's the biggest yichud, because you overcame yourself. And then you know how HaKadosh Baruch Hu responds to that? Kivyochel, he Yagoylu rachamecha al midai secha, even though there was a certain midah said then there was against you, right? But when Hashem sees that you overcame your gvul, and Kivyochel Hashem goes out of his gvul, you follow what I'm saying? So even though there was chalila, something bad that could have happened to you, because in the gvul of Hashem's midas adin, which Hashem, of course, is in control of all that, but Hashem is midas adin, and Hashem is bach. According to his midas adin, something chalila was supposed to happen to you that day. But you got out. You got out of your gvul. So Hakadosh Baruch Hu says, you got out of your gvul, I'm going to get out of my gvul. The response to a person overcoming himself and climbing out of his prison is that Kivyochel, the Shechina, is free. To get out of that jail. Kivyochel. Hashem will do anything, but it means that Hanhaga of Din. You got out of bed. You tore yourself away from that din that was holding you in bed, that said that you have to stay in bed, or whatever that Indian is in your life, that din of yourself, and Kivyochel Hashem responds, getting out of that place of din. It goes from the Kisei Din to the other chair, to the Kisei Rachim. You did something for me, I'll do something for you. That's the formula we see. Chazal in a million places. You did for me, I do it for you. You got out of your din for me, I'm going to get out of my din for you. That's it. That's why Mesirus Nefesh is so powerful. Mesirus Nefesh is the most powerful thing in the world. Somebody, God forbid, is not well, so you say capital Tilum is beautiful. Every capital Tilum is important. But if you do something, and the schus for that person that's very hard for you, it's very uncharacteristic for you, and it should be a schus for this person, that I'm taking upon myself, whatever it is, something that's schus for that person, and you do it with Mesirus Nefesh, that's already a different madrega than a capital Tilum. Again, capital Tilum is very good, but it's a different madrega. You went out of yourself for that person. So Hakadosh Baruch Hu says, you're machshav that person, that you took upon yourself that for the next whatever amount of for the next 6 months, help my friend, and for the next 6 months I'm not going to do this, or whatever it is. You went out of that gvul for that Jew. So Baruch says, me too. I'm in. I'm going to go out of the midas hadin for that Jew. You went out, I'm going out too. I'll be mitzvah for you. I'm going to join you on this project to help this person. It's Mesirus Nefesh. The Gemara says, because we see that why is it that they're showing that they had nisim? Because they were Mesirus Nefesh. What's a nes? A nes means not regular. Something goes out of itself. A nes means when the world goes out of itself, right? That's what a nes is. A nes means normally the world is held in a certain gvul. Right? That's what teva is. Nature means that the world is held by a certain gvul. What's a nes? A nes is to go out of that gvul. Right? Normally the water is like this, and now the water went like that. It means the water went out of its gvul. Hashem did such a thing. The water went out of its gvul. A nes means when the boundaries of teva are broken. That's what a nes is. So when Chazal say, why do we see it by the earlier ones? They had so many nisim that happened to them. They were zeichen to so many nisim. So the Gemara's answer is because they were moisei nefesh, because of Mesirus Nefesh. It's the same thing. You have a certain teva. Your teva is to have this drink. Your teva is to have this whatever it is, this taiva. That's your teva. You went out of your teva with Mesirus Nefesh. It was really hard because you wanted this very, very badly, and you went out of that teva. Let's say you're by nature a stingy person, and someone needed money, and you went out of that teva and you broke that teva to give the person that money. That's a miracle. That's a miracle means getting out of the gvul. Everything has its borders. A miracle is when the borders are removed and you go past the borders. That's a miracle. Because the teva is that everything stays in its place. That's teva. If you don't move this, it stays there. So everything has its teva, everything has its makom. When you go out of that makom, out of that place of stinginess, you go out of that place, that's a miracle. And miracles make miracles happen. That's how Hashem made the world. You broke through that, so then I'm not meshubit, I'm not meshabed you to teva. You went out of your teva, you got out of your place, so then then your parnasa is going to move to a different place. Go to a different place. You're meshubed to your place, so that's the parnasa you're getting. It's in its place. It's in its boundaries. You're stuck in your boundaries, so is your parnasa. You're stuck in your boundaries, so is your kid. You're stuck in the boundaries, so is your health, your matzav with whatever you're going through. You break out of your boundary, you do something miraculous, that already has the koach to mevatel the boundaries of Shamayim and Aretz. So Moshe, when it goes Vayal Moshe, when it goes up to Har Sinai, Hashem Yisborach comes down from the Shamayim. Normally Hashem Yisborach doesn't make cameo appearances like that. Hashem Yisborach has his place, I mean, it's not talking about geography, you understand? Hashem Yisborach has his zone. Vayal Moshe, Vayered Hashem. You go out of your place. Hashem Yisborach says, I'm coming to see you. I'm going to come see you. You went out to see me. I'm coming to see you. It's like that with everything. It's the same thing. You don't feel like getting up to go to shul, but you got out of your place to come see me. Hashem says, I'm going to go out of my place to see you. And then you come and Hashem Yisborach, your tefillas at Hashem, the sweetest tefillas. You went out of your place to go to him. Vayal Moshe says what? Vayered Hashem. Which Hakadosh Baruch Hu's mevatel. Chazal says that Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Normally, there's a chayk, there's a rule that there's Shemayim Shemayim L'Hashem. V'aretz Nosel V'nei Odom. Shemayim Shemayim L'Hashem. V'aretz Nosel V'nei Odom. But there are ways to cross the border. And if you cross the border and you're not stuck, you're not earthbound, and you go beyond, you lift yourself up above your tava. Hakadosh Baruch Hu's tough. You went outside yourself. For me, I'm going outside of myself for you. B'midah sh'adam moeded, moededim loy. So, and that's misached mazulas. That's a yichud. It's the greatest yichud with Hashem. Is when you climb out of yourself to Him, and then He climbs kivyochel out of Himself to you. There's a yichud. That's chassan and kal. That, of course, is the speech that the talk that you give to the chassan before the chassan and to the kal before the chassan. Because the whole success of your being married depends on this, getting out of your own gvul. Because until now it's all solo. You're just by yourself. You do everything what you want. Your parents every now and then they got in your way, but for the most part you do what you want. Then when you get married. It's a whole different thing. Otherwise, why would Hakadosh Baruch Hu play such a trick on us? The whole need of marriage. Why do we do that? Lot says migvulei atzmacha. To wrench you out of yourself. Because there's I don't know any other way to explain. Because it's such a strange Indian of a zach in the cave. But otherwise, to get you. How are you going to get out of yourself already? Therefore, the holy need of Maimon Hasina is a chasna. All the minhagim, the Tashbeis brings down, all the minhagim by the chasna have to do with Maimon Hasina, with Parshas Yisro, and Veschan. Because the need of a chasna is Vayal and Vayered. Getting out of that place that you were in. Your whole life you're in that place, get out of it for somebody else. And that's what Har Sinai is about. It means a person being able to go higher than this world, and Kivyochel Hashem Yisborach going lower than that world. That's the whole chasna. That's the inyan of Zoch and the Keva. That's the inyan of Yichud Kutchavichu Shchinte. That's the Yichud Misached Hazulas. That's how you become one with the other. When you leave yourself. It's not one with the other when you both feel like doing the same thing. That's not called a Yichud. It's nice. That's not called a yichud. Yichud is when you leave yourself to the other. That's called a yichud. That's something altogether different. Just going around, you both enjoy the ice cream. We're going for ice cream tonight. That's very sweet, and enjoy it. But that's not. It's when you wanted to have fleishigs and she wanted to have milchigs, right? And you don't say, all right. I'll have milchis tonight, even though you know I like fleishigs. And in this, by the way, in the score, I made a cheshbon that over the last 30 years, we had milchis more than, but okay, we'll have milchis, that's what you want. No. You know that she wants to have milchis, you go to the milchis. The simcha. That's going out of your will. It's a yichud. It's a simple thing, but it's a yichud. Because you went out of yourself to do what the other person wanted. That's called the yichud. You both wanted to go for milchis, you both wanted to go to flesh. That's a night out. But it's not a yichud. It's not a yichud. There's much more to say on that topic, but it's not nice to talk about the Rav. Hamevin Yod. He wants and she does, and she wants, he doesn't. It's not just about ice cream. When there's a yichud between husband and wife. The biggest yichud is when it's not about yourself. It's about breaking yourself for somebody else. Whether it's a person or it's a Kadosh Baruch Hu, that's called a yichud. That's the Shem yichud. Yichud means something miraculous happens. When there's a yichud, it's a miracle. That's what a yichud is. Out of yourself, it's a yichud. It's something which is Kriyas Yamsuf. So everybody gives a speech by Shabbat Baruch. I'll say, Kosh is Zevuga Shalom Kriyas Yamsuf. The Chassan gets up and says a drasha. Shabbat Baruch. Kosh is Zevuga Kriyas Yamsuf. Mommy and Daddy made him a $100,000 chassan. A couple. Kosh is Zevuga Kriyas Yamsuf. This guy's going to be treading water. A week from now, he's going to be treading water up to his nose. It was the Kriyas Yamsuf. Mommy and Daddy made a Kriyas Yamsuf for him. Your Kriyas Yamsuf depends on you. Not Mommy and Daddy making you a fancy wedding. Your Kriyas Yamsuf is going to be when the first time after Shabbat Baruch was like, how you have him during Shabbat Baruch. After Shabbat Baruch, your wife says no. Then we'll see the Kriyas Yamsuf. The wife says no. You know that word, no? Nobody ever told you before. Your mother tried it a few years ago. She got into big trouble. No. Nobody ever talked that way to me. Nobody ever said that to me. Well, no. I told you. Yeah. Like I told you, I not finished this. I once told you I had this. I overheard this conversation in the airport. That there were two African American. There were a bunch of chevra there, African American chevra. They talk, it's very very posh. They were talking, and the guy was trying to do something. Was trying to pick up this girl, like make a move for the girl. And he says to her, I don't mean to be like, I hope this is not a racial thing, but I'm just saying like the Messias was, he says to her, ain't no one going to talk to me that way. Because she turned him down. She said, no. And she said, it was Gavaldi, she said, I just did. And I was standing here with my wife and we both went, and the guy walked, he walked away. He walked away. The way she said it was, don't mess with me. She said, I just did. It's Gavaldi. No? We can do that with the Yetzirah. The Yetzirah says, you're going to talk to me that way. And they say, I just did.